So we just had WWDC, Apple's conference. You've seen the videos, everybody has been talking about it. Something that I haven't seen anyone talking about is the map.
Command AI.
So this is the normal map that you get, which is already quite impressive. And the flyover now gets this update for the supported cities and everything. Like, see how good this looks? So they are, I don't know, using some real photos, I guess, to maybe map this, create this like very, very rich 3D.
Look at the Grand Canyon one. Well, I think it's Grand Canyon. It's somewhere. It's if you go back in the video.
That's for the spatial, spatial.
Oh, okay.
Thing. Yeah, it's not the map.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought that was it. That'd been cool.
So they are creating, this fake depth thing here. They've been doing this with the photos on you. Like you literally have this with your photos on your phone that you take. You can create this fake depth. Now you have this in your Vision OS, and you can actually take panoramas with your iPhone and then use them as your workstation, whatever, like wallpaper when you are in your Vision OS. I really like the photos, the photo edit thing, especially with, so you can do 3 things. Clean up that you could before as well, but it was so bad. Extend is really interesting, and I just want to do this 50 times. I want to see, like, will I get to the Mars or no? You have this reframe that it has a really interesting UI that creates this like blur, but you can basically regenerate a photo that you never took.
So the nerdy thing about that is that it uses the on-device AI to give you that blur and to give you a preview, and then when you hit OK, that's when it sends it off to their remote what do they call it, Apple private server or whatever they call it. Then it uses the online model to then actually do all of the heavy duty stuff. Another
interesting point of the whole conference, or not so interesting, was Siri AI. I know people are very excited about it. It's just making Siri, I guess, decent. But what was boring to me was that the whole, when they were like showing it, you could see that they are like saying something and just waiting for Siri to kick in and give them a response. And often it was in text. I don't know why they were not doing as much voice as they were doing text in the conference. So I don't know. It looked boring, but I guess Siri is, which has Gemini underneath, is going to be better, but not for us because we are from Europe. I don't know how like, are you?
I'm waiting. No, we're not Europe, but I'm waiting on my Siri AI on this machine here. My OpenClaw.
So I'm not getting it. I'm not getting Siri AI or like most of these AI things, I would say.
For now, they're working with the appropriate parties.
Let's see. So with Siri AI, it's just like everything you expect from a modern assistant. What's good, it's like Apple has the context, so it can like search your entire messages, but I'm not sure if it can do like WhatsApp. Can it search my WhatsApp messages, or does it have to be, Apple product basically data? We don't know that yet, or I don't know, but that's interesting. Another few things that got me excited: Safari extensions. I don't use Safari, but I will give it a try. Like if I want, there are so many times I want to make an extension for a specific thing that I want to do. Maybe I'll try Safari extensions, but I bet Google is coming up with something similar to this soon for Chrome as well. Why not? Prompts to make shortcuts. So the shortcut app that you have that you can do automation. So if you arrive at the gym, like, I don't know, like make my Apple Watch face, this Apple Watch face, or start something. So these automations, you either have to make them from scratch, or you can actually download them from the internet as well, based on like templates other people have made. But now you can prompt them into existence. It makes so much sense. I'm surprised that they didn't have this with iPhone 16 already last year.
I mean, I'm just overall pleased about the general context awareness, that you can either take a screenshot of the page, or not even take a screenshot, but ask Siri about the page. The thing that I got a video on this on my channel, but the thing that I was waiting for, that I would like, is like actual agentic capabilities on your iPhone or on your Mac, so it can do things like take an attached file and email it to someone, or do things across the experience. But it seems like it's going to be locked into the APIs that Apple give to you. I can't say, I mean, I can share, I can do manual processes, but I can't get the agent, or I can't get Siri to like do things put stuff in other apps and take action within other apps and use other apps. It's going to be probably limited to all of the Apple ecosystem stuff. The voice dictation is better, so RIP WisprFlow on iOS.
I was thinking about that. Yeah,
you can change the voice as well, but that's not a big deal. But like, there'll be two variants that can run on your phone. There'll be like a small 3 billion parameter model. My guess is just for basic spell checking and definitions and basic lookups. There's not a lot you can really do reliably with a 3 billion parameter model. And then there'll be a 21 billion parameter model that's not mixture of experts, it's a mixture of focus. Either way, they've got their way of activating 3 billion parameter models at a time, with a specific expert in the field. But it's not quite mixture of experts. So, but only the iPhone 17 will get that, and obviously M5 iPads and whatever. So and then it hands it off to like a bigger model. But saying that the voice is only available on the 17 Pro because for whatever reason, see, that's how bad a 3 billion parameter model is that it can't even change Siri's voice, so God knows how useful it's going to be. And like I said to you before the show, like, it'll be interesting to know where the handoff point is, whether we can actually track that it's handing off to a bigger model, and then eventually it gets to the private cloud versions of the models, which, by the way, are all private. This is all privacy focused, which is quite nice, to be honest, but there will be limitations. Whether you're willing to sacrifice those limitations for the sake of privacy will be down to you. Basically, you vote with your wallet.
Yeah. Last thing, Liquid Ass, they gave they made an update. Now you get a slider and you can change the amount of transparency you can make it almost completely opaque. A group of people, from what I read, they achieved like actual liquid glass for the web, basically working everywhere. So I didn't find the exact article, but I did read it, and yeah, it seems like we have that pretty useless effect. It's not really useful, right? It's nice. It's like very impressive technically, but it's not really useful.
No one's going to be usable. Maybe less in like as Apple use it in like little UI elements rather than actually these whatever they.
Maybe not in functional UI elements, but as an effect.
Well, I'm saying the opposite. I'm saying maybe we'll see it in functional UI.
But it's not functional. It's bad. Like, it's bad for readability. And when you crank
didn't stop Apple.
Yeah. Well, the guy who did this, we know he's now ruining Facebook.
This is part of a larger conversation on my show, Command AI, which we stream live every single week. We discuss the news and all things related to AI in the world of design and web. Catch us next week and join in the banter.
Command AI.